Yeah, that will be able to automate websites. You'll be able to highly automate and make certain that somebody will just review and make certain that there's a quality assurance. Press the button, and you're going to probably generate 80% of the code. I see that.
Thank you so much, Alexandre, to be here today. I'm very, very grateful that you spent the time with us for this first episode of our bite-sized podcast. And the topic that we have today is AI. But before we start talking about AI, just tell us a little bit about yourself, Alexandre. What your current position is, and what your background is, and then we start off right away.
No, absolutely. So first of all, Patrick and the whole Cosmo Consult team, I appreciate you guys having me here for this episode. It's definitely my honor and pleasure to be here. 19 years ago, I decided to move here to Redmond. So I came to the headquarters. I led the global SCV team for a period of time. I managed the relationship between Microsoft and SAP for a period of time. Then I decided to go back to sales. I came to a team that was leading high performance computer, then became Azure. Then after 7 years there, I decided to go to BizApps. What I wake up every day to do, or I go to sleep every day to do, and I'm excited to work with partners, work with our customers, and really make certain that the business application business, ERP, CRM, or low code, no code, continues to grow in accelerated pace.
Thank you so much. I'd like to start off immediately with, let's say, the structure of AI and where we are actually right now. The last time we talked together, I can remember you said there are you consider the situation that we have in regards to artificial intelligence with waves. You said there's several waves of AI. You talked about Copilot and things like that. Please give us a little bit more about that insight, how you would consider that as waves.
Yeah, so I'll get to that, but let me give you a little bit
Mm.
of a perspective and a little bit of a longer span of time, right? Um, as I mentioned, I've been long time in the market. So if this is actually before my time, but
Mm.
everybody remember that we had mainframes, right?
Yeah,
So computing was centralized. So the first revolution that we saw was really the distribution of the computing power to the desktops, right? So that
yeah.
really changed. That was a revolution. The
Mm.
second revolution that happened was the internet, right? So the
Mm.
browser became, the main interface, and the paradigm between, client computing and server computing really changed by that time. Then the other revolution that we saw was, okay, now let's go back a little bit and use data centers in a more efficient way. That was the cloud computing revolution, right? So those, and I leave it that was the moment that I was working in the Azure team, and you have no idea how many conversations I had with customers, with hosts that basically sell, managed service to go and really change to Azure. And Azure at the time when we started was a $70 million business, very, very
Okay.
small to Microsoft
Uh,
vendors.
mm.
You see how big Azure is, right? So growing as of the earnings yesterday, public information, 29% year over year. So very healthy business and
Mm.
multi-billion-dollar business at the point. So I'm very proud to see when I see that. And there was resistance of a lot of people saying, this is not going to work. This is too much power to companies like Amazon, like Microsoft, like Google. And we see
Absolutely. Yeah.
where the industry is today.
Mm.
I want to frame all of this because to give a little bit of perspective to the moment that we're living now,
Yeah.
because now
Mm.
we are living the moment of the AI revolution, and this is completely inevitable, right? So this is
Mm.
going to happen, like us or not.
Yeah.
I personally like a lot.
Mm.
I think it's fantastic. But some people they're always laggards. There are always people who challenge. Oh, because the reality is that there are many technologies that really don't see the light of day, right? Or they don't cross what we call the technology cost. But
Mm.
the reality is that with AI, we see this happening in three phases, as I mentioned before to you, Patrick,
Mm.
which is we are living a little bit of the, I wouldn't call the end, because those eight waves, they are not necessarily beginning ends. They intersect between
They
themselves.
overlap.
But
Yeah.
the wave was
Mm.
really the Copilot wave. where
Mm.
basically Copilot is your assistant and take some repetitive tasks that you're doing and give you the option to write you a better email,
Yeah,
right? I am English is my second language. My native language is Brazilian Portuguese. Obviously, having some agent or external co-pilots that can help me to craft a better email helps me a lot to, basically write a more, well-rounded email if I want to do this in a more formal way, for example, right?
which is what we are doing all the time today. So this is something that we completely accept, I think, in our business right now. Copilots are there. We are using them for writing emails, for making summaries, for researching information, for creating content, also for creativity tasks. I think this is something that is very broadly
Yeah.
accepted here, not only at Cosmo, but also for all the Microsoft users and for everybody that sits on a PC or has a smartphone.
Yeah, and the classical
Mm.
example that I think is the feature that I use the most at the moment is really when I'm in Teams. I put to record, provides me the
Yeah,
summary, provides me to, what are the action items, if you call that out. So the Copilot really saves a lot of time and hours of time that in the past we had to go back to the recording. How many times we said, "Oh, let me go back to the recording, take a look at what we
yeah,
wrote, what we said, what we wrote, what we committed to." This is past, right?
I
So we
love this
already
feature. Mm.
the second wave that is coming right now, or maybe in a couple of months or in a given time frame, I cannot precisely tell you how long this is going to take. But the we already kind of talked to this and shared with some partners. Is Copilot participating as a member of the meeting? And
Mm.
by that, Copilot will actually become, in this example that we're talking about Teams, the moderator
Okay,
between the speakers, making certain that everybody spoke, making certain that the agenda topics were covered. So there is an intelligence. It's going to play a more, can I say, pilot role that rather than just a co-pilot role,
it's an
and really
active role, right?
managing it.
Yeah, it's an active role. Like and it's not only doing something when I ask to do it. It's like there for me actively doing things or taking over agendas and things like that.
Correct. And then the third wave that we see coming, or the third
Hmm.
generation that we already discussing and certainly have in plans, is when we have actually agents
Hmm.
processing tasks as if it was a person, right? So, in other words, companies will have the ability to really add additional people, but they are actually virtual people. Those agents, they're
Okay.
virtual agents, which is basically, if you think about it and you understand a little bit of how PVA or Power Virtual Agent works,
Yeah. Yeah.
is the evolution of that in the AI era. So again, none of this is Star Trek or anything like that that people can think. Beam me up. It's not the thing about that. It's
Yeah.
really things that are in our reach, and we see coming very clearly that will make significant improvement. I got some data points I want to share with you, right?
Hmm.
Why people invest in AI. There is if you go to LinkedIn, there is a survey that we run called Work Trend Index, right? So Jared
Okay.
Spataro sends a report often, right? So it says that 75% of the knowledge workers are already using AI at work
Yeah.
in some shape or form, according to this survey. And this doubled in the past 6 months. Again, it's inevitable, is here, is to stay, it is going to make an
Mm.
impact, right? And it says also in this survey is saving at least 30 minutes of time, equating basically in 10 hours per month by Copilot users, 65% of organizations using and deriving business value from generative AI in 2024 with a return on investment of $3.5 for every dollar invested in AI. So again, it's here.
Which are huge numbers, by the way, that you're mentioning right now. This is just
Yep.
incredible. But with this, you just said that that agents would be like the let's say the next step of robotic process automation, RPA, something like that, or power virtual agents. Would that
Easily.
also mean that the complexity of tasks that artificial intelligence can do will also rise, which means it will get more powerful and will go into what, for example, if we go into the area of software engineering, do you think artificial intelligence will be capable to do even more, which means write code for itself and things like that?
No,
Mm.
I personally don't think so. I think
Okay.
there is a real balance and a real, at the moment, from at least from what
Mm.
I read, from what I learned. As a matter of fact, last week I was in a partner conference where I was had the fortune to present to about 300 executives that came here to the Seattle area to listen what is in store in the plans for us for this fiscal year 25. And before me, there was a gentleman that is actually the VP, the CVP. He's actually a technical fellow, which is the
Mm.
highest rank you can get as an engineer in this
Yeah.
company.
Okay.
And he leads the Copilot engineering team. And he said
Hmm.
something that really stuck at me that probably answers your question. Developing apps, and by the way, the numbers suggest that we have 65 million apps to be developed out there that are basically not able, that we don't have enough people to go and develop, right? There is a
Which is
deficit in the
amazing
market.
again. Yeah. Yeah.
65
Huge
million
number.
apps to be developed, right?
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
the reason why we believe in low code as such a strategic point for us. I think that part of apps or small apps, yeah, that will be able to automate websites. You'll be able to highly automate and make certain that somebody will just review and make certain that there's a quality assurance. Press the button, and you're going to probably generate 80% of the code. I see that. But the platform development, what really platform is, I don't think that's going to be the case, right? Platform development will always exist. We always
Okay.
need software engineers for that. In fact, he mentioned that we never hired so many software engineers in Microsoft as we are hiring today. And again, this is not me saying it's somebody who leads a team in engineering, right?
Which is a very important statement, I think, because we heard, and there were also some fears when we engage into discussion with our colleagues here at Cosmo Consult. Of course, there are some worries that AI will take certain jobs, or will, let's say, will make software engineering unnecessary, and we don't need it anymore in the future. But what we're seeing right now is pretty much uh, the other thing. So which means we're looking for more software engineers, when looking for more technical consultants. And when I understand you correctly, you were saying that this will keep on going, that we look for even more technical staff and IT experts and software engineers rather than less.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely right.
Um,
Absolutely
So
right.
if we again go for artificial intelligence at a company level, what do you mean, or what do you think is important when we think about artificial intelligence as part of future skills of our, let's say, colleagues? What would you think that we would need to invest into, or what would the future job of a software engineer, of a consultant, of a dynamics consultant, perhaps look like? Do you have
Yeah,
some ideas around that?
yeah, I do. And as a matter of fact, AI is the future, is here
Okay.
to stay. The main example that I say is, is this old story that people talk about Kodak, where somebody came to the board and presented
Yeah.
that, digital photography was there. And the person said, no, 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 shelf that idea.
We know where
And
that went.
we
Yeah.
know where that went, right? So we know
Yeah.
exactly where that went. So it's
Hmm.
inevitable. It's
Okay.
here to stay. So you
So you
basically must embrace and really adapt and use your experience to really transform yourself, right? Because in this space, you're always learning, you're always challenged, and that's what makes this very interesting to be in this camp.
Great. Thank you so much. So, what do you see then, especially what is the role of Microsoft partners in regards to artificial intelligence? Because as we see right now, Copilots are, I would say, to a very large degree, they explain themselves. So people can use them. It's very easy to use them. There's very, let's say, little to train there. So they just can use it right off the box. What do you think will be the role of partners, perhaps especially dynamics partners, in the context of artificial intelligence? Also, especially in regards of and agents and things like that that we will see in the future.
Yeah, I think there's never so exciting time like now for a Dynamics partner. And
Mm.
I'll tell you why. It basically manifests, in multiple ways, but I would say the ones that I like to talk the most, if you think about Copilot, as I said earlier, it's a platform.
Yeah.
There's going to be huge opportunities to extend Copilot features on top of Copilot and extensions, right? So I think the partners will play definitely a role on that.
Mm.
And remember, Copilot is not only when you talk here about the Copilot for sales, the Copilot for service, Copilot for finance. There are Copilot um, capabilities, like I like to say, embedded in Business Central, in Dynamics Finance, in Dynamics Sales. It's Copilot is again as a let's call it a discipline, if you will. Maybe there's a better word, but Copilot is not just something that you sell or you buy in isolation, right? But regardless of that, you have the ability because again, as I said, this is a platform, and platform by definition they can and they should be extended.
Mm.
So we look into our partners and say, okay, what you can take this billions of dollars that Microsoft invests in creating this platform and how you can create extensions that will better fit industry needs, processes needs. And Microsoft won't get into that,
Yeah, okay.
right?
Mm.
Even when we get into industries, there is certain level that we go, we
Yeah.
count on this. And remember, Microsoft, and I think probably I can say with a great degree of certainty, is the largest technology company that leverages on partners 100%, 95% of the business. The other 5% is just in the government space where by requirement the customer wants or needs to buy from a company like Microsoft. But other than that, we all transact via partners, right? Is the old story that every dollar that Microsoft generates, another 9 or 10 is generated by partners in the world, right? So of various categories of partners. So that's one important play, I think, is the ability to extend
Mm.
products and capabilities by industry, by segment, by country. There is so much we'll be able to go, right?
Mm.
Again, we will stay in the platform space. So partners help with the extensions. The other one that I see, and maybe less applicable to you guys, but I think it's important to note, is with AI being revolutionary, it will demand a lot of processes changes. So
Yeah.
the change management on how companies operate will generate a demand for technology companies to go and teach these customers on how to better operate and take full advantage of what AI can provide. It's not only just you throw the technology at them and you go to the next one, right? Every customer will say, whoa, 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 teach me how to better leverage this, right? Teach me, remember the 3.5 for every dollar,
Yeah.
3.5 return for every dollar that we got. So I think customers will stretch this and say, how can I get 5? How can I get 7? How can I get 10? And that will demand a lot of change management and how companies operate.
Which
And
is
that's, I think,
really interesting for us. Sorry just to
yeah,
interrupt you, which is really interesting for us because we have a very good change department right now, which just does change management in context for our customers, completely outside or sometimes in combination with IT projects. And this is something very important for us. And I think
yeah,
what you're saying right now gives us additional opportunity to talk to our customers and say, okay, the AI revolution is here. You can do whatever you want. It's not going away, but we can help you along that way. Also, in terms of change management, not only in terms, and this is also very important for us at Cosmonauts, in terms of industry focus and industry specialization. So we take the platform and we, let's say, we go the last couple of miles for the industry and make industry specific solution out of what Microsoft has provided to us. And by the way, which we also need to say here, I think everybody here at Cosmo really knows that the portfolio of Microsoft has never been as strong as it is right now. And with the Copilots, it's keeping it's making a huge leap forward, and again, which will give us a huge potential for new services, I think. And the two areas that you mentioned are very interesting for us. So thank you very much for this statement, because it helps us to focus where we should go along in future with AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
let's make certain that each of us stay on the right lanes, right? So Microsoft is again a platform company, and
Mm,
the game in AI is really a big boys, big girls game, right? It's not
mm,
something that anybody can go and take it easy.
yeah.
Microsoft is investing on this, Patrick. It's not 2 years ago, like some of my competitors that start with S, or like others that we have been investing in this for the past 5 6 years,
Mm,
building the capabilities, building the platform that where this is going to sit. And again, I refer to the earnings that we announced yesterday, and the market I don't think yet realized and connected all the dots that we're investing for 15 years and beyond. Because if you don't buy the and build this infrastructure now and establish that infrastructure, and you won't get there. Obviously, the return on this is still slow to the expectations
mm,
of investors. So I understand what's happening
mm,
there. But at the end of the day, I think we are in a very unique position. I would say probably years ahead of the competition on what we can offer. And we have AI embedded in every single product of Microsoft, or at least most of the products of Microsoft. Certainly all the products of the BizApps portfolio, which I'm
mm,
responsible for.
mm. Thank you so much, Alexandre. I think we covered a whole lot today, and it was for the first show of our podcast. It was really excellent having you on board. I have two last questions for you. One of them is, what is your message to each and every cosmonaut for the topic of AI?
Well, basically, is take a look at the technology, understand what it is. Don't be afraid of it, right? So don't be resistant. Take a look at what it can provide, understand your processes very well, and see where you can apply AI in a very material way. And it's important to have early wins. The moment
Yeah,
that you implement the first
absolutely.
project, that really you
Yeah.
can say, "Oh, this is giving the saving in hours. This is giving me a return on investment in terms of dollars." That becomes something that you can really, with the right data point, back up for future projects. And then you go and again, people will learn, people will fail, people will stumble. We need to be prepared
Mm,
to have this kind of situation and take this growth mindset and say, okay, what did I learn from this process? Oh, it failed because of this, failed because of that, but look at that, other opportunities that I have here. So I think it's coming to AI with open heart, open mind is my final recommendation for these
uh,
customers.
Thank you so much. And what I want to add is, the last time when we prepared for this meeting, you also said something very interesting, which is, we don't have a job guarantee. So, and if we new things come along, we need to adapt, and we are standing in front of a revolution right now, and we need
Yeah.
to embrace this, of course. So, and the last question, which is one for me, because I'm dealing very much with dynamic CRM, when will I be able to talk to my CRM system in natural language?
Well, I think natural language is already coming in. The
Mhm.
ability to do more and more. There is actually a video. I can try to find the link and send to you of a case that we have for basically uses our commerce capability in a website.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, and this is coming to CRM also in a because ultimately it's part of the same family. And what happens is that this individual, they basically say, look, I'm going to go to a hiking, and what is the shoe that I need to go, and instead of going and searching for it, it
Yeah.
talks to the website, and the
Yeah.
website provides them in and responds in lateral language as well. Now the kicker, right, or the punchline, if you will, the person also speaks Spanish, and this individual changes to Spanish in the middle of the conversation from English to Spanish, and the website adjusts itself and responds in Spanish. So I think this is fantastic. That's the kind of flexibility that will come, and that will again help everybody to be more productive.
This is sounds like a dream come true, especially for our sales guys who don't want to engage with systems, but they just want to talk with it. And sounds like a real huge step forward. So, Alex, thank you so much for being here. It was really great having you here. I think this is very valuable for us cosmonauts, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from you again. Thank you so
No,
much.
absolutely. It was a pleasure. And whenever you guys, one time I'll be back here to discuss anything. And I'm always learning from you as well. So I want to, my final words is to say a big, big thank you. We just finished our fiscal year a month ago. And SMB is definitely a growing power. BizApps is a growing power. It was actually mentioned yesterday in our earning calls. This only can happen with partners like Cosmo Consult. Again, I had the pleasure, the honor to be the executive sponsor, have a conversation with your board in regular basis, and I'm always learning, right? Always learning, and I want to thank you for the hard work that you guys put that helps Microsoft and helps Cosmo to grow, and we will continue to grow for the next years as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
I'm certain we were going to do that. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.